Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening to everyone. Today we are from group 9. We will present about the correlation between primary energy consumption per capita, kilowatt hour per person and the per capita electricity kilowatt hour. This is our group members, which is myself, Muhammad Wais bin Yusuf, Karudin bin Husaini, Ahmad Amirul Ashraf bin Uthman, and Muhammad Akram Irfan bin Muhammad Rizal Hanafi.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Ahmad Amirul Ashraf bin Usman and my metric number AE200001. In this video, I will explain about the introduction. First is the linear regression. Linear regression is the association between at least one explanatory variable and an outcome variable. These variables are called respectively as the independent and dependent variable. Independent variable is the predictor or explanatory variable that does not change as a result of the change in other variable. Uh, for the dependent variable is the response or the result variable under study or analysis. Next is in this project, we must find a set of engineering data that has 30 data, independent variable and dependent variable. From the data, we must calculate the mean and variance for each variable. After that, we also must create the scatter plot and linear regression line using the selected software, and then we must evaluate the regression model is good or not and can be used to accurately predict the dependent variable value. Okay, this is the data of our assignment. Okay, the data obtained regarding measurement primary energy consumption per capita and per capita electricity from 1992 to 2021 in Singapore. When we look at the total energy consumption, differences across countries often reflect differences in population size. In this data, the independent variable is the primary energy consumption per capita and the dependent variable is the per capita electricity. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
For software, we have choose Microsoft Excel as our software to complete our task. It is because Microsoft Excel is easy to use because all the calculation is done automatically. Next, it enable user to format, organize, and calculate data in a spreadsheet. Next, the information is easy to view as the data is added or changed. The software also enable us to perform many calculations such as addition, subtraction, and others. For an example, if we want to calculate the average, we can just put equal average and put our data into the bracket, or we can insert equal var.s and put our data into the bracket to calculate the variance. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Karudin Besani. Today I will present about result and discussion. Based on the result, we have tabulated a table that contains number of count, mean, variance, standard deviation, maximum value, and minimum value for both dependent and independent variable. Next, the graph will show a scatter plot to visualize the relationship between two different numerical variables, which is the correlation between the primary energy consumption per capita and per capita electricity. A straight line was then constructed using linear regression to demonstrate the relationship between the independent and dependent variable. To determine whether the model is good or not, an evaluation of the regression model was made by assessing the regression model assumption. Four assumptions were used to analyze the regression model. These assumptions include the occurrence of substantial outlier, the residual variable being similar, the residual having a normal distribution, and the residual being independent of one another. In next graph was displayed the residual against primary energy consumption per capita. From the scatter plot graph, we can see that the residual variance are similar. This is because the residual variance being consistent along the x-axis. Next, this is a normal probability plot graph. From this graph, we can infer if the residuals are normally distributed. On a normal probability map, we are looking to determine if our data fall along a particular line. It is necessary to make the observation near to the line. The residual distribution is normally distributed as can be seen from the graph. Lastly, the primary energy consumption per capita line fit plot graph is shown in the graph. This graph enable us to determine whether or not the graph are consistent with the notion that they are independent of one another. The association should be quite low. The graph make it evidently evident that the points are depressed. As a result, we can say that the correlation in the regression model is almost nil. In summary, three of the four assumptions that we were made turned out to be true. As a result, regression model's evaluation was successful. Overall, the discovered regression model is a solid regression model. So that's all for me. Thank you.
In conclusion, we use Microsoft Excel to model a linear regression based on primary energy consumption per capita and per capita electricity data from 1992 to 2021 in Singapore. We further analyzed the data by plotting the residual against primary energy consumption per capita, a normal probability graph, and a line plot graph. The normal probability graph revealed that the data was not normally distributed, but our evaluation of the regression model using 4 assumptions showed that it was successful, with 3 out of 4 assumptions being true. The solid model indicates a positive correlation between primary energy consumption per capita and per capita electricity. Overall, our findings demonstrate that linear regression is a useful tool for analyze the relationship between these two variables. Thank you.